Hello friends, I am Homeopath R.S. Saini, and in the sequence of differentiating the various rubrics, we try to come up with the videos, and today we will be discussing and differentiating between two rubrics which are similar looking. The first rubric is Indifference lies with eyes closed, and the second rubric is Closing eyes ameliorate. There are four remedies in the first rubric. Indifference lies with eyes closed, which are apis, sepia, calculus, and Argentum nitricum. And in the second rubric, closing eyes ameliorate, sepia is the remedy which comes up common in both the rubrics. Now, each remedy has its own traits of lying closed with eyes closed and closing eyes ameliorate. Before differentiating the rubric, we will understand the meaning of the words. What is meant by being indifferent? Indifferent means to feel unconcerned, to feel detached, to feel disinterested, or to stay neutral. That means not taking an action in a situation where the action needs to be taken. Eyes are a media through which we see the world outside, through which we see the light. And if we keep our eyes closed in a dark space or in darkness, we are unable to see. We cannot see in darkness. Therefore, closing eyes means to stay in darkness or to stay away from reality, or in other words, not to face the reality. Closing eyes ameliorate means, which is the second rubric, the person wants to detach from the outside world just to be by oneself after a day-long strenuous work. In the first rubric, the four remedies, Argentum nitricum, apis, calculus, and sepia, have their own individual traits to explain the meaning behind indifference, closing eyes, ameliorate. We will go to the why of each of these remedies which appear under this rubric. So in the first and second rubric, sepia is the common, as I told you earlier. We will see the why of sepia also, why it wants to feel ameliorated by closing eyes, and why it is indifferent and closing eyes ameliorates. Argentum nitricum wants to close eyes and feel indifferent. The reason is that it wants to allay and keep away from the anxiety and anticipation. It wants to keep away from being stuck, from a fear of facing any situation which is worrisome, to avoid being stuck in any situation which creates a state of suspense. Argentum nitricum wants to feel free from any trapped situation wherefrom it is difficult to come out, because Argentum nitricum feels very critical in a dangerous situation and it wants to see the exit. It wants to see the exit door. It's looking for to come out of a dark, dingy, and closed space. So this anxiety makes him indifferent towards facing such situation, and therefore wants to lie with his eyes closed. Second remedy, Apis. Apis wants to lie with his eyes closed because the individual is a fast-paced person. He is a relentless person. He works from day to night, works fruitlessly. The remedy is made out of the honeybee, and the character of the honeybee is to collect honey from one flower to another, going about, running about, flying about, restlessly and ceaselessly. It works morn till evening without stopping. So Apis wants to close his eyes at the end of the day just to calm down the overactive state of its nerves, because it is so restless and so non-stopping kind of the worker that it wants to calm down itself at the end of the day, and then it becomes indifferent and wants to lie with closed eyes just to keep the reality away. Cauculus is the next remedy. Cauculus wants to come to terms with the situation. Cauculus is a remedy which is under the rubric recognizes the reality and accepts it as it is. Cauculus feels that if I take any action in any given situation, it's going to bring more disturbance to me, whereas I am already feeling overly disturbed. So in order to avoid any further disturbance to its feelings, to its emotions, Cauculus wants to stay put where he or she is, so therefore becomes indifferent to the suffering, indifferent to her discomforts, and wants to lie with closed eyes. That means not taking any action, because the reality is the main realm of Cauculus. The reality of a particular situation makes Cauculus to take a decision not to act further. And Sepia is a very industrious remedy, and it is full of cares about domestic affairs, full of cares about her loved ones, and her entire energy is consumed in taking care of the family, thereby leaving very little time for herself. So at the end of the day, when Sepia feels burnt down, Sepia feels drained of all energy, it wants to be by itself, and that is only possible if Sepia lies with closed eyes. That means not to any further give her whatever energy is left in her. She doesn't want to spend it anymore, and she wants to come to terms to herself to be quiet and not take any action, so that whatever energy she has left, she should utilize it, she should conserve it for herself. So these are the four remedies and the reasons behind their keeping and lying indifferently with eyes closed. And in the rubric, only uh, closing eyes ameliorate. That also means that Sepia wants to be by herself in order to recoup the spent energy while looking after the domestic affairs and looking after her children and the family. Whatever energy she has left, she wants to conserve it for her own self. So these were the differentials amongst the remedies between these two rubrics. I hope all of you will derive benefit out of this differentiation and apply the remedies accordingly whenever there is any case which is coming to be seen in your clinics. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell button so that you get all my videos ready in your inbox, and you can then listen to them and derive benefits after listening the differentiation of remedies and the other videos which we make from time to time on homeopathic system of cure of diseases. Thank you very much for listening.